will cover a number of recent incidents that have occurred within the country that our commissioner will speak to this morning. I just want to remind members of the press that during the briefing, following the commissioner's presentation, you'll be allowed to ask 2 questions. So again, I'm reminding you to decide your pertinent questions for the commissioner following his presentation. At this time, I wish to hand the briefing over to our commissioner, Mr. Vernencha.
Thank you so much, Chief Superintendent Skippings, and good morning, good afternoon, good morning, sorry, morning Bahamas, and morning to you, members of the press. It's a pleasure. But before I begin to speak to the 2 most recent matters, homicides, I just wish to commend all of the men and women of this great noble organization, including our civilian staff and reservists who continue to go above and beyond to keep this beautiful country of ours safe, and those who continue to visit. I would like to begin with the recent matter that occurred on Friday past. We know that it's a 72-year victim, female, who lives at Ross Corner and East Street. Shortly after 11 p.m. on Friday, the victim was dropped home by sister and other family members after attending a birthday dinner. She was able to secure herself at her residence. Shortly before 3 a.m. on Saturday morning, the deceased's son and grandson arrived home, realizing that the deadlock to the front door that usually be off while they are out was locked. They were able to pick the deadlock, and as they entered, the bedroom is facing directly opposite the front door, and that bedroom door was open, so they were able to see directly into the room as they entered the apartment, and noticed their mother was lying in the nude on the floor, appeared to be unresponsive. They also discovered a male who was also in the nude, sitting on the bed. As a result, it was an altercation between the son and the grandson, who was able to put a good beating on this alleged suspect. They were able to alert the neighbors next door, who contacted the police. Officers responded in quick time and was able to arrest this individual, who received injuries. He was later taken to hospital and treated for his injuries. He's a 25-year-old male from that same area, Boat Alley off Market Street. We know now that this alleged suspect entered through a front room window, a northern front room window, to gain access to that residence. Officers did some probing in that area and was able to retrieve a video footage from a local restaurant and bar in that general area, showing the suspect just prior to the deceased arriving home. He was seen bareback, just a pants on, no shoes, in front of that establishment with other persons. It appears though he was using some drugs. That's what the video footage is telling us and showing us at this time. He is known to us. He was released from prison in March of this year for vagrancy and also stealing. He is presently assisting police with the investigation. During the examination of the deceased, we note no injuries on the deceased. No injuries was noted on the deceased. The autopsy is being done at this time, and it's very crucial to determine the cause of death. That matter is actively being investigated, and the autopsy will tell us a lot of things so that we could proceed with this matter. He, the suspect, is assisting at this time. He was able to take investigators out directly to the house and indicated how he got in. So that matter is under active investigation. We are meeting with the family at CID at this very moment. Investigators are meeting with the family, the daughters who has traveled all the way from Houston and Cayman Islands. They are in town and they are meeting with family members at this time. Just an update with respect to the young girl at Faith Avenue. As indicated last week by Chief Superintendent Skippings, we have a 32-year-old male from that same general area. He was arrested the following morning. During his arrest, there was an altercation with the officers. He assaulted the officers one of the officers received injuries, and he was taken to hospital and treated for his injuries. He was arrested and is presently detained at PMH. Our information is that he's a known patient from Sandlands. I just spoke to one of the doctors just before coming over. He is being released from PMH and taken to Sandlands for further evaluation. He is presently under heavy guard. Officers are watching on the alert 24 hours. We know that we are unable to speak to him at this time. The doctors is saying that we are unable to speak to him because of his condition at this time. We know that the cause of death for the young child is strangulation. We could safely say that she was sexually assaulted at this time. Our investigators and CSI personnel, they have collected a number of evidence, physical evidence, and they are preparing it now, even what was taken from the suspect, alleged suspect, and they are being packaged at this time. I've given instructions that both the matters that happened on Friday and the young child, all of that physical evidence, once the CSI personnel have gathered all of the evidence, they will be on the next flight out to a DNA lab, which is crucial in both investigations to bring some quick closure to these matters, both matters. So we are actively, the officers were on the ground from last week and into the weekend. And again, I want to commend the officers for a job well done. I know in the print media that the mother of the young child, who was interviewed by media personnel, yourselves, who indicated, and there was a question she put out there, where was the village when I needed them most. And that hit home to me because we continue to talk about the village, and it appeared as though the village is now fighting among themselves instead of trying to assist others, like we know how we grew up looking out for others. You find parents now go into the schools and want to fight with the teachers. You find some neighbors live right next door and don't even say good morning, don't even say good evening. We really have to go back to basics in this country, what we know about. We brag about a Christian nation. And I totally agree, it is a Christian nation, but it's just some that continue to reap havoc in this country. I want to suggest to the president of the Christian Council, I know that we hold a prayer, national prayer, maybe once a month. I would like to recommend to them that at least once a month going into the new year 2025, at least once a month, whether it's at the beginning or at the end, and that we move in every area of this Commonwealth of the Bahamas on the park and have a day of prayer. At least once a month, every month, the 12 months, once a month, either the beginning or the end. I believe that will go a long way. We have to just continue. Prayers do answer. Not in our time, but it will at the end of the day. I am happy to say that the Royal Bahamas Police Force has partnered with Mr. Keith McSweeney from Rescue to assist with the burial of this young child. And we are happy as an organization to do just that. To do just that. Bahamas, if it's any time now that we need prayers and continue to work together. I want to thank the members of the public as well who continue to assist us in a big way as we continue to say that we cannot do it alone. We cannot do it alone. With the matter at Ross Corner and East Street, it really hit home to me because it's family from San Salvador. And I know that the whole community of San Salvador right now is hurting in a big way. It's hurting in a big way. So I wish to give condolences not only to the both victims' family, but others who died as a result of violent crime. And I want to say to members of the public that your Royal Bahamas Police Force remain focused in this fight, and we will not let you down. We will continue to protect this nation, and we will continue to protect our young people and our females. So I want you to join forces with us, as you usually do, members of the public, to make this beautiful country of ours continue to remain safe. Thank you so much, and as we progress with the investigation, bear with us. The DNA evidence is very crucial in both of these matters, and we are moving quickly to bring some closure. With respect to the Ross Corner matter, I suspect that as early as midweek, that individual will be going to court. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner of Police. At this time, we will invite the press who have questions, so we can start with Monique Tooth from the National Guardian.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning.
Good morning, Commissioner. You mentioned that you were unable to speak with the suspect in Adriel Moxey's murder because of his condition. Are you speaking about his physical condition or his mental condition?
His mental condition.
Obviously, he has been being treated at SRC. What is his condition? Is he bipolar, schizophrenic? Did they say what his diagnosis is?
I can't speak directly to this, but I know he's a patient at Sandlands.
And once he's released from the hospital and is taken from Sandlands, how does that work in terms of being on the police guard to ensure, obviously it's very dangerous, ensure that he doesn't get out and isn't able to hurt someone else?
Well, we continue to build the evidence, and I think we are leading in the right direction. And we will wait for the doctor to indicate to us when it's a good time, or if the investigators are able to speak with him, if he is in sound mind to really answer questions put to him. So that's why the DNA evidence is so crucial in that matter, and we are moving quickly to do just that.
Thank you so much. We move to LinkedIn with Chief from Eyewitness News.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioner. In regards to the discovery of Adriel Moxey, I know police didn't specify, but last week when she was discovered, the top that she had on, was it a school shirt? Was her school belongings in the nearby proximity that she was discovered? Were they retrieved by police as well?
No, she was not in uniform, and we are still trying to locate her belongings, her school bag.
And you guys have no reason to believe that she would have actually made it home and then would have possibly left home?
Based on information from the parents that she never got home.
Thank you so much. Delgado from Our News.
Good morning, Commissioner. In light of these two recent murders, do police still think it's good, well, it's a good idea to conceal the identity of these perpetrators who find themselves before courts for these type murders?
My view is the world should know who these persons are. That is my view.
Following question, what's your message to the public? I mean, persons are not only angry, but they're afraid. What's your message to silence the nerves within the Bahamian public?
As we continue to say, we want the members of the public to always be aware of their surrounding. If you see something, say something. That is crucial. And during these investigations, we are finding that some people saw some things, but ignore it or fail to reach the police. And we encourage members of the public to please do just that. If you see something, say something. Don't care how small or insignificant you may think. Let us determine that. Let us determine that. But always to be aware of your surroundings. We will continue to sound the alarm. And if you know something, please reach out.
We move to Leandra from the Tribune.
Good morning, Commissioner. In regards to the suspect in the Adriel Moxey matter, can you perhaps say why police believe that they have the right person? Because I know you mentioned that he is a Sandlands patient, and also the fact that we all have gotten evidence but have sent that out for testing. But was he spotted in the area? Does he have a history of committing sexual crimes? Did any surveillance find him? We just want to get more details, because oftentimes you have suspects who claim that police would oftentimes beat them into confession for crimes that they claim that they didn't commit. So why do you feel you have that?
First of all, that don't happen. The police don't beat nobody. You don't find that happen. And if it do, then we deal with it. But there's some information right now I can't bring to the public, but we are following some significant lead. We know that he even had some injuries on him when he was arrested as well, some notable injuries on him, and based on the intel, we feel confident. We feel that we are on the right track, but we just want to dot the I's and cross the T's, and we will continue to. We are not just leaving it as is. We continue to follow other lines of inquiries just to ensure, as I indicated, we suspect, based on the information that we retrieve, we believe that we may be on the right track, and we are moving quickly either to exonerate him or put him before the court.
In terms of my second question, I know last year bus drivers had partnered with police as well as the Ministry of Education to have students perhaps for them to drop students home as opposed to them walking long distances. Perhaps ACP Hannah can speak to this. But is this initiative still going on, will this be ramped up because this initiative was launched to curb like after school violence? Can you speak perhaps to that?
I'll let Hannah speak to it.
Right. Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, the school busing system is ongoing, and it has had a positive impact on reducing the number of fights and incidents after school to the tune of 17% when we looked at it last semester. So the program is going to be continued to be strengthened to provide transportation for students who wish to be bused directly from school to their neighborhood. So that is ongoing, and it is having a positive impact on reducing the number of school incidents.
Thank you so much. Felicity from 7S. Commissioner, continuing on the topic of schools, from your school policing unit, are you hearing if there's any truth to social media reports about bullying from Adriel Rogers' senior students of junior high students?
I will let Hannah speak again because he's on the ground with respect to that.
The incidents we see now at the schools, we have one or two cases of fist fights, pushing and shoving that probably all of us high school went through at some point in time. We don't see those serious matters. As I said, school incidents have reduced by 17%. You don't see the number of, when we started the school resource officer program, we had a number of videos going around with all these fights on campus. That number has been reduced. The SROs are in there working. They are speaking to students on anti-bullying, cyberbullying, drugs, guns, gangs. So we don't have any concern with bullying. Whatever issues we have there, it is probably being managed, and we don't have any significant concerns with those type of matters.
On that same question, do you think you need to ramp up the school policing vision and even civilians, maybe more crossing wardens or whatever, just to increase the zone of care for the students?
The Minister of Education has asked us to partner with the school board, members of the school board who wish to assist the SROs and security officers with safety, and we're looking at that. To your point about strengthening, the Commissioner of Police has just approved new officers, 5 new officers to join the school policing division, and in partnership with the Ministry of Education, they're going to be going to primary schools now. And I think the Honorable Minister of Education should have a press conference sometime this week, along with the Director of Education to roll that out. So the school policing program is going to be continued to be strengthened.
Thank you. Back to the Commissioner. How, Commissioner, are we dealing with these people on the streets with mental illness who are sometimes extremely strong, especially when speaking about women and girls? These are obvious cases of gender-based violence.
Yes, that is a conversation that we need, and we are trying to come together to address, to do just that, because we find that, as I indicated, the individual who's in custody now, when we went to arrest him, it was a big fight. It was a big fight, and one of the officers were injured. So that is something that we will continue to address, and how we deal with persons with mental issues. And I want to say to the family of these persons, they have to really pay attention to them, because they may turn it on you. Cost them to take their medication. Let them get their checkup in time. Don't just leave them unattended and then they get themselves in trouble. That's a no-no. But that is something that we have to continue to address. Mental illness is big now in this country.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. We move now to Tanika.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Good afternoon, Amazon. But just to piggyback off of Felicity's question, do you think there needs to be greater monitoring of people who are released? You said one suspect. Police. People are being known, mental conditions where they may be a danger to the public.
Well, that is so hard, and we continue to do our best to do just that. As simple as you go on Bay Street, sometimes you will see 10 or maybe more. The police will arrest them and then put them before the court. And before you know it, they're right back out there creating havoc again. So that is something that we have to address and looking to get social. But it's never moving because officers continue to find them, put them before the court, and they're back right out there in the community.
So right now, is there any level of monitoring if someone comes out of prison or ambulance with a dangerous mental health issue?
Well, we will be notified, but it's very difficult to be able to monitor all of these persons. Sometimes you don't know where to find them because they just left alone. You will be around all day, but again.
Questions. There have been some, I guess you could call them passing rumors on social media pertaining to pastor allegedly calling and reporting some alleged screams. Can you guys confirm or deny if you received any call from anybody?
Yes, we did. We did, and it was checked, but not became of that. If you visit that scene that night, man, you could hardly see your hand in front of you. And we was able to check. When they got there, the pastor had already left. But yes, the pastor did in fact went into Carmichael Road Station. We have confirmed that.
Okay. Also, in light of the recent incident with young Adriel, are officials seeking to enforce, I guess, a pickup or make it mandatory for children to be involved in these programs, that they have somebody to pick them up once the program is done, or that they have, a responsible adult coming to collect them? Is that going to now be made?
We continue to say that, but I had a good conversation with the Minister of Education, Ms. Hannah, who have a passion for young people, and that is something being addressed now. We are looking at that, and we want to partner with them. After school, you will see police officers in patrol just riding slowly to ensure that the kids move quickly to get home, and we will continue to do just that and boost up those areas after school and even before. We continue to do just that.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Linton Ritchie from Eyewitness News would like to ask ACP Davis a question as it relates to technology.
Sure.
You want to?
Thank you, Commissioner. Assistant Commissioner Deems, on Friday, Marco's alert was issued for 2 young males in Andros who have since been caught. I know residents in Andros would have told Eyewitness News that they made reports to police that, in fact, these children were not missing. They were at large, I guess, causing havoc, or wreaking havoc, rather, on the island of Andros. Any response as to why a missing child flyer was released to them rather than maybe at large or wanted poster? Was it because they were juveniles, or?
No, thank you for the question. But again, based on the fact of the investigation, the officers in Andros, once the report was made officially to them, they went out and do their due diligence, as mentioned in prior press conference. Once they get to a roadblock, while the child or the children were being seen by members of the public, but we got to a point where there was a period that the kids were not being seen. And so we want to take every precaution to ensure that we get the public's help involved to try help us to recapture or to return these children back to their parents. And so because of the time frame that has passed, the Commissioner, and being cautious, decided that we will disseminate a Marcos alert for the public's help to return these kids back to us. And so that is the reason as to why we decided to send a Marcos alert. The Commission has mentioned again through previous press conference that we are not going to wait any long periods of time before we disseminate Marcos alert when it comes to young children. And so again, just being precautious and knowing that it could help, we made a decision to disseminate a Marcos alert.
You know, and just to add, we want parents to really understand. You have to take care of your kids and know where they are at all times. You can't leave your kids unattended. You cannot. You know, and we encouraging parents to do that. Pay attention to your kids, man. That's all you got. Pay attention to them. They're young children, and we want to protect them and ensure that we steer them in the right direction. And the question again, where is the village, man? Where's the village? That is something we have to fix.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. And so just a few things I wish to reiterate just before we close. The Commissioner spoke about the village and the fact that the village needs to step in, the village consisting of the school, the church, the business community, civic society. All of us have a role to play in the fight against crime. Again, as an organization, we remain relentless and focused in our duties to ensure that this Bahamas remains a safer place for those who live, work, visit, and play here. Thank you so much. That concludes our briefing. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.